Welcome back, bling besties. As promised, I'm back with another video, and this time I'm showing you how to create a tumbler using the honeycomb method. Let's do it. As you can see, I tried something different this time and use SS30 for the base rhinestones. So many of you asked us what those are used for, and I wanted to show that they are still beautiful. You can use it as your main size. SS16 and SS20 are the most common sizes. However, we can experiment with all different sizes. Now, I wouldn't go blinking an entire cup using size SS12 rhinestones or SS6 rhinestones. Starting at SS16 and SS20 is ideal. However, depending on the look that you're going for, SS30 is just as beautiful. With today's cup, I wanted to dedicate this one to my grandmother. I have been in business for a long time, and my grandmother, who's in her 80s, has been asking for a bling cup, and I finally sat down to create her something special. I believe that I get a lot of my fanciness from my grandmother. Just like me, she enjoys bling, and her favorite color, just like me, is pink as well. So we did a pink cup with a pink name, and I made it a little extra fancy because she is so fancy. Just like last time, we're going to prep our tumbler correctly, print out our name using a Silhouette Cameo or a Cricut machine. And this time I decided to go with a different font, and I wanted to play around with the letters so you can see that I used some big rhinestones and outlined the name in size SS12 rhinestones. Now, because we're using small tiny stones for the outline, the name is going to take a little while longer, but I wanted a different effect and I love the way it turned out. If you're using bigger rhinestones, we do not have to, well, it will not take as long. I think because of the way that I did this name, it took me roughly like almost an hour just because we used so many tiny rhinestones, but I absolutely love the way that it turned out. Now, most times I am a size SS20 girl. I use SS20. If I don't have SS20, of course, I'm going with SS16. The benefit of using SS20 is it's still a beautiful rhinestone, and you're not going to spend as much time on your project because it is a bigger size. Now, this is a project that I did for my grandmother, and I did not have enough SS20 rhinestones here with me. I would have had to get some from the warehouse, and I really wanted to start it on it before I had work stuff come up this week. So I used SS30, which I often use. A lot of people shy away from SS30, but they are so beautiful. And especially if you're a cheer or dance mom and you're creating dance costumes and outfits, SS30 is the way to go. And then mix in some smaller stones as well. I absolutely love the way that it turned out, and I'm in love with Pinky Promise rhinestones as well as Rosey. I tend to use a lot of pink rhinestones in my projects, so I'm going to start showing more. It's just that my favorite color is pink, but I'm going to consider you all as well. Now, after I prepped this cup, my daughter had some Posca markers, the Posca markers. I never took the time to see exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, but whichever one I'm supposed to say, I got those markers. And I began to paint the cup, and I realized that it was running out of ink. So I really did not do a great job painting this cup. However, because I'm doing the honeycomb method and these stones will be very close, I did not go back and paint the cup with acrylic paint, nor did I go back with spray paint, just because I knew I would get those stones very close. But ideally, you should spray paint your cup first, or paint it with a marker or a Sharpie or acrylic paint. I just did not do that. Like I tell my daughters sometimes when I'm giving them instructions on certain things that I've experienced, I will say, this is the way you should do it. And then if they see me deviating from what I have told them, they will say, Mama, you said don't do it that way. And I will say, listen to me. Do as I say, not as I do. I know that it's bad. I should be doing and practicing what I preach at all times. But sometimes You know, I make up my own rules. So with this paint, yes, it looks atrocious. It could have been better. I'm not a perfectionist. I know some of you might be cringing like, girl, I could not please do that over, but I was not. I wanted to get this cup done for my grandmother. I'm on borrowed time. I already started on it, and I did not feel like going through taping off stuff, spray painting. So as you can see, it came out beautiful anyway, so it didn't matter. But we're trying to go for perfection here. So I encourage you to do it the right way from the beginning and don't be like me. Let's be honest. I do not always do this step. And I tried it today. And as you continue with the video, you will see that it did not help me today either. However, many people love this technique and they have much success with it. It makes sense, but I just do not have a steady hand sometimes. So ideally, you want to start off with the first row of rhinestones, starting at the top. You can do the top or the bottom, but if I'm gonna mess up, I'd rather my mistake be at the bottom. So I like to start at the top, make that top line, the top row as neat as possible. Now, I tried to get it neatly, around the cup, and then you're supposed to turn the cup face down and then press the rhinestones down against whatever it is that you have the cup on to make sure that all of the rhinestones are even and spaced correctly. Now, I did that. And I was doing good my first few rows. And then after a while, I said, forget it. My hand said, we're not neat. And then I started messing up. However, your skill and your technique may be different than mine, and you will not have to use any filler stones because you got crooked lines. So as long as you make these lines as straight as possible, your first anchor line, then all the rest of the cup is going to flow smoothly. But when you deviate and you get that line crooked, that's when it messes everything up. And if you're not skilled enough to correct the mistake, then you're going to be crying. But we're here to help you and to show you just what you could do if by chance you do need filler stones and your cup is still going to be banging beautiful and no one will notice. Specifically, they won't notice because it's not... There's not a rule. You're not breaking a rule if you happen to use another size. So you're still going to have a beautiful cup. Now, I recommend that once you place that anchor line, that you let it dry for about 15 minutes, just so the stones won't be sliding. With Krystal Glaze, you're really not going to have that issue anyway, but just in case, just put it down for a little bit, go do something, go get you a snack, go say your prayers. Spend some time in your word, 15 minutes. And then after that, you come on back and you finish your cup. Amen. Amen. Now, because my placement can sometimes get off, the goal is to get the stones as straight and close as possible. Okay? But if you're like me, sometimes no matter how hard you try, how straight you try to get it, you're just going to be off a little bit. So it did not help that I have a name on here. So whenever if this was a plain cup and I did not have a name and I was using one size stone, most likely with some shifting and pushing around and proper spacing, we would only have to use exactly one size stone with no fillers. However, we're doing a name and my placement is not always the best. So I did use SS30 as my base stone. Around the name, I began to use multiple sizes: SS30, SS20, SS16, SS12. And then I did not have any of this Pinky Promise in SS6 here. So that's when my transparent AB rhinestones came in handy in those small spaces around the name. And it absolutely turned out great. So always keep transparent SS6 on hand. I would recommend just when you get to projects like this and you need filler stones. And if you're using a rhinestone with AB coating, they will match perfectly. So when I do around the name, I tend to try to keep the same pattern going with SS30 and then just filling in as neat as possible. You can start playing around with this and creating your own pattern, doing it the way you want to do it because you are the artist. There's no wrong way to do it. Some people save this space and they fill in all of the name with tiny small rhinestones. They forget about the honeycomb method and they just do the scatter method. Girl, whatever floats your boat. If you like it, I love it. If you like the way it looks, if that's what your customer ordered, if it's popping, if it's shining, then that's what you do. There's no right or wrong way. Whatever it is that you like to do, as long as it looks nice and you've given it your all, then that's the right way. Okay, we're having fun. We're blinging. It's therapeutic. You should not be feeling overwhelmed. Just have fun and bling on. There you have it. Now you know how to bling a 20-ounce bling tumbler using the honeycomb method. And just as we did with this cup, we use SS30, but you can apply this same technique using any size rhinestone that you would like. Ideally SS16 or SS20. And if you have a very neat stroke, unlike myself, you probably, and especially if you do not add a name, you will not run into the issue of using any other size rhinestone if you are placing your rhinestones correctly. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love doing these. I love getting requests from you all. So if you have something that you really want to bling out, but you don't know where to begin, I've started taking requests. So you can send an email to someone on my team, and when we meet, we'll decide what I will bling next. Always, you can email us at hello@krownedkrystals.com. Of course, it's in the description box. And until next time, don't forget to shine. Sparkle on, darling. Thanks for watching.